All right. Good morning. Oh my God. Good morning. Good evening. Good night. Welcome into NFT Live. We were going a little bit ham there on the hip hop, lo-fi music there. Hey, you guys are already blowing up the chat. This is NFT Live on a Tuesday. We're going up here. We're going up with Turbo. We got some other things to talk on, including, and what is the saddest news that I've heard in a long time. Hezbollah got locked up.
Horrible.
Hezbollah,
Absolutely terrible.
He's locked up. Well, I will say, apparently in the last 3 hours, he's free and placed on house arrest. So my boy went in the joint for 0.5 seconds, but he's out. He's out on house arrest now. They couldn't keep my man down. He's on house arrest.
They can't hold him down. Look at that face. You can't hold this man down.
I mean, you physically can't hold him in a jail cell. He's too small. He will fit out of the cell. Literally can't escape. Like a little spider monkey. Hey guys, we see you there in the chat. Again, NFT Live. We do this every day at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm sitting here with my main man, Gifted, and I am sitting here with y'all. I see Choina, Extinct, Nox Darkness. Well, who else do we have? Prodigy bought some Turbo as well last night, so good to see. We're all in solidarity with my main man Gifted here. So hey man, how's it going?
So good. It was a really interesting and cool show this morning on GMO3. Had a lot of people come through talking about crypto art, why it still matters, why Tez matters, especially right now when gas is absolutely out of this world. It's just insanity if you're trying to, be an NFT artist or collector over on Ethereum. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work right now. So you know what? Maybe you got to go somewhere else where things are a little bit friendlier and more functional for us artists and us creative types and us, collectors. So Tezos is a good place. And apparently some people are also going to Cardano. I don't know. That's a thing. They keep trying to make Cardano a thing.
Yeah.
Is it a thing? Listen, I want to know.
You guys were full in on the Tezos and the Ethereum analogies. The Cardano analogy is that top 100 influencer list that we always see that we're like, who is that person? Or why is that person on there? And yet we're forced to believe that this person has an outsized influence on what's happening in our industry. That is Cardano. Cardano has been here for years and years and years. No one understands why, and yet they're the new thing.
Just waiting for that top 100 redaction, the NFT 99 situation with Cardano.
Someone redact Cardano. Yeah. Okay. Hey, big.
What was it? What is it like? Something bad was done with a wallet that I control. What was that saying?
I forgot who actually did that. Guys, we were just starting the episode here. Here's the thumbnail, which I actually find really entertaining, really engaging. Who is that? That's the too damn high meme. You know that the gas is too damn high.
Okay. See,
you didn't have that. Okay.
Apparently is it too obscure and it eludes me. That's why I'm like, what is going on here? But you know what? I do love a good meme. So if this is a good meme, let us know in the comments. Is this a good thumbnail? Is this a good meme? Or did we miss with this thumbnail? Let me know what you think. Nifty Q's standing up for it.
Yeah, we'll see.
He feels strongly that this is a solid thumbnail.
This is what we've got on today's episode. We're going to talk gas prices. NFT volumes are of course down. Meme coins are probably the most volatile thing you can get on the history of the planet right now, outside of joining Ukraine's war against Russia. Literally the most volatile thing happening right now is people winning and losing Pepe, Turbo, and all of the above. These are 90% swings on the dailies.
That's an awkward analogy, but I guess I see it. Yeah. This is basically like a real life war that's happening right now.
With real life outcomes, because this is what it is. Okay, so we're gonna touch on Tezos. We're gonna touch on again Turbo and Pepe, but let's get into that then, because I do have a tweet here. You made it official last night with pretty much the entire Twitterverse, or at least the NFT Twitterverse. I have to just
with
put
my
myself
20
on
friends.
mute here.
Straight up, real quick though, to the 20 people that are consistently showing up to like my tweets, I'm gonna go to the store after the show. If you want anything, Just let me know. I got you, fam.
I just liked it against my better judgment. So this is from GIF with a coffin with a trademark at GIFTED. So this influencer on Twitter is saying not financial advice, but here's the case study I'm living in real time. Here are 4 NFT grails I've liquidated in the last 24 hours to allocate 60 ETH towards meme coins, including my Bored Ape held for over 2 years. Here is my thesis. And for this part of the conversation, I'm gonna have to exit like stage left.
What people don't know yet that I haven't added to Twitter just yet is I liquidated more. I liquidated 2 Rengas, one of my other deeds, and one of my cargos. So at least 4 more of my grails got liquidated and put into turbo as well. So that's how we're doing. How you doing? Nifty Q is not happy with me right now. But look, it's a case study and everybody's going to learn from my mistakes.
A case study?
I am living a real life case study. I'm calling it the YOLO meme coin case study of 2023. YOLO meme coin case study. That's what I'm calling this. Because it's going to go likely one of 2 ways. There's not much middle ground here. Either
it's a coin flip.
Yeah, either I come out of this looking like 200 IQ and I'm just like, yeah, feeling good, doing well, or I am the biggest idiot of all time. So that's pretty much how it goes. And on the bottom of that thread, can we drop that tweet in the chat? Because on the bottom of this thread, there is a poll. So you can tell me, is this the move or is this just batshit insanity? Am I crazy and I'm gonna fail? Let me know on that tweet at the bottom. But yeah, do you want me to read through this thesis, or you just want to put it up on screen for a while?
I do. I want you to read through this. Prodigy is bringing up a really good meme that actually happened with a well-known League of Legends player that I think relatively goes well here. So I'm actually gonna bring this up on stream. Right. This is Gifted. This is an embodiment of Gifted right now because he's addicted to this degen life apparently. So we're gonna watch Gifted in true form. Tyler 1, take it away as you do.
Even make it to live servers. How? How did they think that was okay to even put it in the game? I'm so sick of this fucking company. They're trash! Fix the game! It sucks playing the shit! And I'm fucking addicted! So I can't quit! I'm so sick of this shit!
Are you addicted to the degen life? Is this what we're getting at? Like, so there is a pool of money that you have though in your portfolio where you're like, this is the money that I am not putting towards degen shit coins that go up 80 to 90% in a day.
Sure, like if that's ApeCoin and Polygon, yeah.
Okay.
there's a small NFTs allocation. Left. Yeah, and that's what I said in that. I kind of like explained about it. I do still have like a whole other hard wallet full of NFTs and some other Yuga assets and some other things too. Just I'm not addicted to degen life as much as I'm addicted to not working for someone else. And so to me, this is all a gamble, a YOLO gamble to say, all right, do I want to go back and work at an agency for someone else, or am I willing to again put my entire existence on the line and possibly go to zero? Like I've been at zero or close to zero several times already over the last couple of years, and just making smart enough moves to barely keep going and keep surviving. And every once in a while I do pretty well with trading, or like we make our own business work through this too, like in small ways, but that's still growing. It doesn't do much yet. So yeah, in the meantime, it's just survival and trying to figure out what do I have to do to not go work for another agency. And so, yeah, this is my whole thesis on why I did what I did in this case study. And yeah, I've got some smaller positions and some other shit coins that I mentioned, but the 2 biggest allocations are Pepe and Turbo. I think they've got the strongest narrative, which I lay out. We talked about this yesterday. I kind of just crystallized it a little bit in this thread, but basically, as far as I can tell, Pepe and Turbo have the 2 strongest narratives and community support. And betting on Pepe is like betting on internet culture and buying into the narrative that it can compete with on the level of like Shiba or Doge for no other reason than frog money go up. And betting on Turbo is about the narrative around creative applications of new AI technologies. And if you think that that's cool and interesting and that people are going to buy into that narrative and keep thinking that it's cool, that this is like the first meme coin generated with AI, then that's a good bet. And so that's an oversimplified version. Obviously, things like macroeconomics, culture, and timing, and a bunch of other stuff, execution, all this stuff matters. So there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it. But what we were talking about yesterday and what I actually believe is that, I think this is the first phase of a cycle. I think that this altcoin, shitcoin cycle plays out over the next few weeks. I could see it going at least like halfway through June before it really starts to like taper off. Maybe it's less than that. Maybe by the end of May, it's already fucking done. Who knows? Again, but we did spend some time, you were pulling up some awesome charts from DeFi Summer, kind of looking at how that ran through. And there's a lot of similarities. The setup is very similar. And the interesting thing, looking back on that was several years ago, there was a lot less, I would say even less interest or availability or infrastructure or tools, different financial tools even to like leverage. So there's a chance here that this could be just as big or even bigger, maybe, but we don't know. But I'm just guessing that it'll be similar in some way because of the setup, because of what's happening. I think it'll be similar in some way to what happened in DeFi Summer, whether it's shorter or longer. But I'm expecting it to run at least into June, and that we're still at the sort of first phase, or maybe in the first third, the first period of this thing. And that, like we were saying, for NFTs to really pick up and for people to start speculating on JPEGs again, like they were, you really need the crypto market to pump again. And so when is BTC and ETH really going to start pumping? It might trade sideways for a while. I'm guessing that it won't be at least till end of summer, maybe fall even. Maybe it won't even be till the holidays that we see a real pump. But until we see that pump in Ethereum and BTC and that extra liquidity coming back, I don't think there's going to be a lot of liquidity in NFTs. I do think NFTs are coming back. I just think right now the liquidity and the interest has shifted, and it's gonna take broader crypto momentum to bring back that speculation.
All right, so in 6 months, I'll either be chilling with Gifted on his newly minted yacht, or I will be visiting him at the Hobby Lobby. To Prodigy's point, Cam Taylor saying, "But Gift, you could have taken profits giving you 1 year or more runway to build something. Why gamble at all?"
You know what? Fuck, that's a really good, fair question. Right. But I think if there's one thing that I've been seeing and believing in more and more, is that the way that people really kind of take that bigger step towards freedom, financial independence and freedom, and actually build real wealth, is by taking bigger bets, right? Like actually taking higher leverage moves, making higher leverage moves. And that's not to say I am saying you take on more like additional debt or leverage. That is one way that people do it. I am not taking on debt. A lot of people were asking me, why didn't I just take a loan against my Bored Ape? It's a fair question. I instead of going into debt and handling it that way, I just wanted to like take out the liquidity, own it myself. Either I lose it or I don't. You know what? I'm not owing, other than the taxes that I owe on it, I don't owe anyone else. I'm not, I don't have anything hanging over my head. I'm very wary of taking on debt within Web3. Yeah. It's because it's just already so fucking risky. So I'm not saying you should take on a whole bunch of extra debt unless that suits you. But what I'm saying is that there's low leverage plays and there's high leverage plays. And basically that's like, what is the multiple of return based on your investment, right? Or like for X amount of time and resources, what can you get from that? So to me, this is a very, very high leverage play that has much higher potential to pay off in a way that could set me up for years. You know what I mean? and we'll see
And
it
to-
again.
to-
But
to
I'm
be
also
fair-
I'm very aware of the risk, though. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Is like, this is tremendously risky. We haven't said this is not financial advice yet. I don't think this is not financial advice. None of it is.
Yeah. Well, the risk again, and we can stay in this conversation. For those that just joined, Gifted, are my fellow or my former fellow Bored Ape has, basically concentrated his liquidity into riding this meme coin season. That's essentially, at the end of the day, what's happening. So we're watching it play out in real time, to your point. Again, the risk being that you can take maybe even smaller bets and still have some liquidity to get you to that next year or year and a half based on what you've done in the space up to this time. But a concentrated bet is gonna, make sure you're like, if you hit, you're hitting big. Like that's the thing. A lot of people, to me, like they're putting $100 into these coins that they hear about that are already almost listed on Coinbase. A Pepe, for example. Like that's not gonna get it done, folks. Like you're not gonna take $100 in Pepe coin right now when it's sitting at number 40 on market cap and turn that into 10 G's. Like that, it's past that time.
That's an example of a low leverage play, right? It's like, yeah, you can make a few bucks here and there and maybe have fun, but you're not going to change your life. You're not going to like radically, make a big difference,
Yeah. So Turbo, I'm in on you with. I'm also in on a coin called 4 as well. I have another advice in this space. If you have been in this space for maybe 2 or 3 years, or maybe you're just getting in now, and you have individuals who are kind of on your, parallel to you, essentially, like doing the same things, spending their days in Web3, and they say, maybe you should buy something. You know how many times, even in the last 4 months, that I should have listened, even to Gifted on, let's say, the open editions. Like open editions were clearly not as volatile of a time as what we're seeing with meme coins, but we were also talking about Pepe 2 weeks ago. So it wasn't Gift that told me to buy this, but it was another individual, and I instantly, took it's not a bunch. I'm not selling my Bored Ape or anything, but I'm in 4. But I'm also in Turbo, which I think is the more interesting conversation around the fact that it was created essentially with AI assistance. I think that narrative is very clear. So I'm in on that with you. And folks, Gifted was just doing all this about yesterday. Maybe in the last 2 days. So this is an interesting chart here. Depending on where you got in, this is all the 8th. This is the 7th. Again, we saw that big turn down. But yeah, in the last day,
I've been averaging. I was buying all the way down, so like I've been averaging in lower and lower. But then I definitely at those 2 bottoms there, that's when I liquidated those other assets, because I was like, dude, these seem like clear buying opportunities. When it got below that like 10 cent, or 0.00010 cent, and it was around like 8, 9, I was just like, dude, this to me feels like a great buying opportunity. And that's when I liquidated all those additional NFTs to put in more into Turbo. So I think right now, like where Turbo's at around this like sort of like 14, 15, I think that's about my break even. So like I think right now I'm basically sitting even on Turbo, and from here, if it starts to keep pumping over the coming days and weeks, then I'm looking good on that one at least. The other big one is Pepe, and that one still could go up or down right now. I think it will go up, really? But like in the short in the short term, it might still go down. Yeah, it could still go down.
What's the Twitter profile for Turbo? Because I definitely don't want to get that wrong.
Turbo Toad token. It's singular. I can send it to you. Turbo Toad though should come up.
Yeah, send it. Put it in the private chat.
Token.
So here's my other thing. Like obviously these are momentum trades, and you're not going to be holding these for a long period of time. At least like if you're not going to lose your shit over it. I mean, depending on how much you have in. Again, if you made $100,000 on Turbo, you could probably and I'm talking to people who
I'm dropping it straight into Pepe,
early.
bro. I'm trading it straight into.
If you make $100,000 on Turbo and you drop it straight into something else, I'm gonna fucking drive to LA. I'm not even gonna take a plane, because I'm gonna drive and just be thinking about it the whole time. Like that's how much I'm gonna freak out if you do that. But I'm interested in. Like,
hey, you know what? If it gets you out here, Q.
Yeah, fair. I'm interested in like the long-term sustainability along the same lines as Doge. right? Like that's the Pepe meme is, hey, we're gonna flip Doge. Is there anything happening other than price action with either of these two things? Like, is there any like notable? Do we even know who the team
No.
is? Like, do we care? You know, but you definitely don't on that front. But I'm wondering
Well,
if like a
Pepe's been
team
added.
reveal can come out.
Yeah, Pepe's been added to some big exchanges like Binance so far, and has also already been like sort of integrated into a couple projects. Like one of the fun things about the upcoming Goblin Town expansion is that you actually get like a 50% discount if you mint with Pepe. So I think it's like right now kind of like Doge and Shiba where it's community driven. You know, it's like right now people are going to integrate it or find their own use cases and utilities. If there's going to be larger use cases and utilities for those coins in the future, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But right now, like what's fascinating is the way that these things pick up, community engagement. Pepe obviously has been like a famous meme. It seems like it's the meme of all memes. This is why I'm very bullish on Pepe, because like Doge and Shiba, like those are memes, but like they weren't nearly as famous. Like Pepe seems to be the meme. Like is there a bigger meme than Pepe? Can you name one?
No, definitely not. Like the amount of derivatives off Pepe is huge.
Let me know in the chat.
But we're also
what do you think? No, like I want to know seriously, is there a bigger meme? Can you tell me one meme that you think is as big or close to as big or bigger than Pepe?
Okay,
it seems like it is the.
Chon is saying Pepe seems to have an active community who are actively organizing IRL events. It was the community who organized and funded the billboard in Times Square last week. Fisher Karma is saying something that me and you both agree with this. Like don't get it twisted. Like we're up here like talking about Turbo and Pepe because there is some price action on it, and that's the reason why people are interested. Like no one full stop. I don't know how to like explain that differently. Like the only reason that we're buying Turbo right now is because of that fact. I do think there's a provenance of having, owning a little bit of the first not AI generated, but I don't even know how they're talking about it. I think Turbo said AI assisted is the term they're using, but I think there's some provenance in owning that token,
That's the narrative. It's why it's interesting, right? The way that it originated, the way it was created was unique, and especially for this moment in time. Again, timing really matters. It's hitting on the meta, which is like AI creativity, new AI applications, creative applications of AI. That's fucking cool right now. It's hot. People want to be part of that and be part of that AI movement and all the new things that people are doing with it. And it's just, it's interesting. And yeah, the price action is fucking awesome. That is the primary driver of interest right now, is the potential. Because again, it's like, so like, obviously art matters, community matters, but so much of the reason why people loved NFTs is because you wanted a Bored Ape, you wanted a punk, you could 10x or 100x if you hit the right NFT, and you could, feel the divine direction inside of you that said this artist at this time with this community and this team and this meme means that this is going to be the token that everybody wants. That was why so many people liked it, is the speculation, but the opportunity also to make actually big returns in short amounts of time. And that's what this is offering right now, which is why it has more interest. It is pure speculation on it's like memetics speculation.
Big shout out to those of you that are tuning in right now. Appreciate the conversation that you guys are flowing through right now there in chat. CryptoPhage is asking, is it okay to share the meme coin NFT project I'm buying? As long as it's not an outright scam. Phage has been a tribe member for a long time here. So Phage, of course, you can kind of let us know what you're getting into. But we also have those of you that are watching on Twitter, those of you that are listening on Spotify. We appreciate all of y'all, and if you could leave a like on this tweet or leave a rating on Spotify or do anything you can to kind of help us proliferate this content, it would definitely help us out. So appreciate y'all, OVOT there. We want to stay in this conversation. We're going to get to ETH gas prices. Tezos, we had some good talks on, so I want to cover a little bit of that. But yeah, Turbo is looking good. Shout out to Cake Nygaard, who is actively pushing all of the Turbo art on his profile, which is pretty dope. There's a lot of that
Jake
there,
is
but Turbo,
killing it, dude.
yeah, Turbo,
his Turbo Toad art is phenomenal.
Yeah, let's show a couple of those. So you can see one there. There's another piece here. I think that's the same piece actually, but there's a couple others. There's one that he made as well. So yeah, cake's all over the Turbo token as well. But you know, I mean, this is again short time frames, but Turbo just passed 14.00. So that's what? That's a tenth of a penny. So we're actually getting into range of like being able to talk about these things in any monetary value that's not 0.0000008. So it's at more than a tenth of a penny and rising. So again, man, I'm on this train with you. Not nearly as concentrated with the bet on Turbo, but I've got about 3K in Turbo. So that's I mean it's a lower market cap token. So again, that plays into my thought process as well. When something is not obviously known about, like Pepe is, you're going to probably have the opportunity to get a little bit more multiples there. So that's where we're at. We're going to continue to stay in this combo. Appreciate if you guys drop any more knowledge on us. It looks like CryptoPhasia's into Mong. Have you heard about Mong here, Gifted?
I have heard about it, but I have not looked deeply into it. I've seen it in my feed quite a lot. So I know that there's at least some community interest and support around it. The other one that we heard about today that sounds kind of interesting is eTusk, which is apparently doing something interesting to combat the MEV attacks, the MEV attacks from the bots, which is basically again like sandwich attacks, stealing slippage, stealing value from the slippage on transactions. So that could be an interesting one. Again, look, we're going to say this again. This is not financial advice, and information was found publicly on the internet. Opinions shared on this episode are solely of the Web3 team. All information is public domain, so please do your own research. DYOR. We're just talking about cool shit on the internet and not responsible for anyone's bags. eTusk came up this morning and it looks like it just launched. So it, could be a good time to maybe just drop a small amount into that. That's what I'm going to look at there is like, do I want to just, put some kind of small allocation into eTusk because it's pretty early. But yeah, I don't know anything about it really, other than it sounds like it's trying to, use a unique way to combat the MEV bots.
Everyone's going to have their own strategy for this, but folks, I would implore you, if you do, this is not financial advice, and we've said it more times in 1 week than we've said it in the entire year. But if you do make profits on this stuff, I would implore you to roll, some of that into some form of stable coin, and then take those, whatever profits that are remaining, and gamble with that, man. Because that's we want to obviously build up a little bit of a nest egg here. But now this sounds like a financial podcast, which is not, the idea around what we're trying to do.
Did you just say nest egg?
I said nest egg. I said nest egg.
Nest egg, bro.
I'm one stage closer. You'll see. New podcast. Speaking of new podcasts, I know we're all over the place today, but we do have a new podcast, new rebranded one-on-one interview style podcast coming this week in the next 48 hours. The session was already recorded. 60, 75-minute interviews with long form, content. And that what you can do there is get in depth with, founders. What we want to do is have leaders like Starlordy on there, people from, the highest level blockchains, people from the top collections, just influencers, founders, creators, people who are doing cool shit in the space. We'll sit down in a one-on-one format and talk with them. So first episode is coming out this week. Again, be on the lookout for that. We already have the logo. We already have the name, but we are going to announce that here shortly. There'll be a giveaway along with that as well. So should be a good time.
Heck yeah, bro. I'm excited. I'm excited for some new Nifty Q podcasts, one-on-one with some amazing leaders. All right. Yeah. Do we want to keep talking about tokens, or do we?
No,
Like,
I've got
is
some
there
quick news. So yeah, I hate that like it's literally only tokens. I appreciate Phasia bringing up Mong though. I haven't heard about that one, so I'll take a look on an individual basis. So appreciate you guys
Yeah.
getting
Also,
in.
Squashman, I didn't catch the. I heard you talking about it briefly, but like I really didn't catch what you were sharing on this custom RPC network. So apparently, there's some kind of way that can also help it. Help protect you from Mevbot attacks. So Squashman, if you want to DM me that, I'll look further into it. Maybe we can talk more about that on tomorrow's GM Web3. So thank you.
Yeah, bring it up. Yeah, send me the tweet or something as well whenever you get it from Squash, and I'll be able to bring it up here on the show. Troy is saying, I sound like a broken record by now, but every time you profit gain, earn income in this space, instantly swap 25 to 30% to your favorite stablecoin and send it to the dedicated cold wallet for taxes. Appreciate you, China. China's looking at us running around like it's a kindergarten, just preschool. We're all just running around. We had no idea what we're doing, and China's trying to keep us in line and tell us what needs to be said. I appreciate that. All right. So quick news, and then we will get to Ethereum gas prices. I think the Mevbots is a cool discussion, but apparently there's like a booming market here for high value CSGO skins. I don't want to get into the fact that these dudes don't even own the items that they're purchasing. I don't want to go down that route. I just want to go down the route that this is a really, really cool phenomenon that's happening. We're seeing pretty much every week now there is this new CSGO skin. Now, whether these are legitimate sales, whether these are artificial or wash trading or what have you, everything we talk about already in NFTs, it's interesting to me why this is happening now. Like the timing of CSGO skins becoming extremely rare and valuable. How these sales are happening as well. I'm sure they're happening on the Steam market. So Steam has an incentive maybe to be sharing this. They get a cut of these sales if they're happening on their market. But again, this CSGO skin, Karambit Blue Gem Knife, just sold for $125,000. That's 22,752 Grand Nitro Cold Brews from Starbucks. I don't know where he's getting that from, example from, but I can appreciate it. That's a lot of Nitro Cold Brews. But yeah, would you pay $125,000 for this gift?
Fuck no. That's it. Fuck no. I don't like, but I'm also not like, first of all, I would never be paying money for something like this that I don't actually own. That is literally like, it is stuck in this specific game and on specific marketplaces. And again, it could be taken away from you at any time or disappeared when they stop supporting the game. I think this is an absolutely absurd purchase just for that reason. But I'm also not a first person shooter guy. I'm a Rocket League and a FIFA guy. That's my get down. So would I buy expensive digital collectibles in Rocket League? No, but I have spent, $20, $30 maybe. I've spent maybe $10, $15, maybe $20 on like, one or two assets here and there in Rocket League. But I've probably, even including the like season passes, I've probably spent like a total of maybe like $150 to $200 across the last 5 years, in Rocket League. So I think it's batshit crazy to be spending this kind of money on digital collectibles that you don't even own. They aren't even decentralized. I don't know. I think it's wild. Do I think it's cool as like an example of why this shit makes sense for gamers and why eventually everything in gaming is going to be on the blockchain, or at least a lot of things will be? Yeah, I think it's awesome to see that, because these are just more things for us to point to just be like, hey, look, y'all already are doing this and you don't even own it. You're dumb.
There's a weird disconnect between NFT folks or Web3 folks and gamers. Because I feel like we both are like throwing tomatoes at each other, being like, your thing is stupid. That makes no sense. And we both believe we're right. And there's this super weird disconnect between those two communities that will be comfortable spending them. What's up?
Would you buy that? Would you spend that much on a CSGO skin?
I mean, obviously not. I don't believe, that the reason I'm in this space is for ownership of digital assets. I don't really believe that I own it when they're not, in my wallet. So that's kind of how I believe about ownership in the digital environment. I don't know. What's up?
It seems it's pretty simple. It seems so obvious, doesn't it?
It does, but again, it seems obvious to them. They're like NFTs are a scam. That's as far as it goes with a lot of those folks in the gaming side. So, well, I don't know what it's going to take. It'll probably take another side. It'll probably take a couple more games coming out that provide some value in a non-threatening way. Speaking of non-threatening, Meebits, you love that. You love that segue. Meebits actually is coming out with an update. So shout out to Yuga Labs, correct? So shout out to Yuga Labs here for doing some work here on the Meebits side. Apparently, there's
Meebits are the OG avatars of the metaverse, and now your avatar comes to life in a new.
With Meebits.
Meebits are the OG avatars of the metaverse, and now your avatar comes to life in a new way as it becomes a living PFP. Unlike static profile pictures, living PFPs allow you to customize your NFT without affecting its metadata. MB 1.2 is the first iteration of living PFPs, a collection of moods for your Meebit. To get started, go to turnon.meebits.app to try on different moods. Let's get Meebin. Meebits are the OG avatars of the metaverse.
Did they say let's get Meebin?
Yeah, that wasn't a good one. I'm gonna let them off. Anyways, if you go to turnon.meebits.app, you can see it takes you to a handy dandy little platform here. I don't own any Meebits, or I might. I just haven't looked at them in it must be a year plus. But yeah, you can see I got a little animation here. You can switch it. I got a shy Meebit. I got a swooning Meebit.
It's a really cool website.
Yeah, I think so. What's happening here? I can't even. Let's get Meebin. I mean, it feels like another Doodles move. I'm going to be honest, and maybe we're not the target audience. Maybe we're just not the target audience. But it feels like kind of a solution here that's looking for a market. Like I don't know how many people are asking to have their Meebits animated. Is this a big move?
Well, are they called Bitmojis? Like, what are the things that you call? It's like your own custom avatar on like iOS and shit. Is that called a Bitmoji?
Yeah. Bitmojis. Yep.
That's what it feels like. It feels like an NFT version of like a Bitmoji. You can express yourself in different ways, which I do think that is a utility as long as it's integrated into enough platforms that you're actually using regularly. Like, how does this work on Twitter? You know what I mean? How does this work on my iMessage? How does this work on Discord? That's what I want to see, is the actual applications. And then, is this interesting enough that enough people want to use it? And then is it cool enough that it actually like makes you want to buy a Meebit? I don't know about that, right? That's the challenge to me, is like, do I think it's an interesting and cool utility, and does this execution, like, I think this is an impressive execution, is what I'm saying. I do think it's an impressive execution. However, it's just like, is this the utility or use case that's going to get me super excited? I don't know yet. The integrations and the different applications of it will definitely make a difference. But if it's like super high quality, like it looks like it is, if you like that art and you like identify with this type of character, again, this like blocky pixelated type of character, that's cool. I have to say, part of why I'm super skeptical on it in general is that like this isn't my favorite type of art, and it's also like a similar reason why like Sandbox doesn't really grab me. Yep. Yeah, Sandbox doesn't make like the voxels thing, right? It just doesn't grab me as being like super cool, and it feels like Roblox or like a kid's game. So yeah, like you said, we might not be the target audience for it. Is there an audience, or are they actually solving a need that's in the market? Or is this, to your point, a product and a solution searching for a problem? It's a good question.
The one thing I took away as being most important of what you said there was the fact that like, hey, what can I do with these animated Meebits outside of being on this platform, right? Like that's the biggest thing is how does this integrate? It's the same thing we talked about with Doodles. Doodles had this really cool rollout of the ability to customize your avatar, but there's no one using these avatars right now. Like we're not all hopping into a digital environment and saying, "Hey, like we're here, and oh, your Meebit is animated, and your Doodles has on Adidas sneakers." It's where do you go to see this stuff? And if it's sequestered on this Meebit platform, or in Doodles' case, in the Doodles studio, it just doesn't translate. It doesn't translate. Like again, I love the point about having it be animated somehow. And I don't even know how this would look, but being able to show it off on Twitter, that you have this ability that this is another type of animated or evolution for your Meebit, but that doesn't exist, I don't think.
I feel, well said. And to add to that, I feel like this is an example of a project that was originated or conceptualized during a time when metaverse was still like the meta, like metaverse, that narrative of the metaverse being the thing was huge because it was like COVID, everybody was inside, everybody was at home, finding ways to connect in different ways. And I think Meebits took off on the metaverse narrative, that having a metaverse ready NFT or a character that could be 3D in the metaverse, that was like the craziest, most badass utility. I don't even personally just like the art. So it's like something like a Kid Called Beast would be more interesting to me if that's what I really cared about. But is there actually enough people that care about spending a lot of time in a metaverse and having, an animated Roblox character in the metaverse?
So
is there enough demand for that?
So this portion of living PFPs apparently edits the HTML like image essentially, or HTML like it changes the data so that HTML enabled viewers can actually see this. So with living PFPs, holders can now choose a mood for their Meebit that will be reflected on marketplaces with HTML viewers like OpenSea. This form of self-expression is an exciting step forward in NFTs. It's cool. It just, again, I don't think it moves the needle enough. And looking at NFT Go as well, we talked about this yesterday with the Oniforce news with Horizon Labs, which Win token, yada yada yada, didn't make any noise on the supply front or the demand front, and we're seeing the same thing, right? Like this is an announcement that in a bull market would form some type of demand surge, at least in a very short amount of time. That's not what you're seeing.
Well, exactly. And this, we were talking about Oniforce with the Horizon Labs announcement being another example. Like both of these are, I think, announcements or updates that a year ago would have moved the dial. Like the Horizon Labs announcement, I feel like would have 2x'd the Oni floor a year ago.
Me too. Yes.
And the fact that you not only don't see a pump, but you actually see the floors dropping after this news, that to me is all I needed to know. Like, honestly, that's the type of shit that really factored into my decision to basically like liquidate a bunch of my grails right now and move it into meme coins. And again, it's not that I think that NFTs are dead forever. I just think right now where the market is at, the liquidity is leaving NFTs for a while. And I think that it's going to, like, NFT market is going to suffer at least until the crypto market starts pumping again. And then I think you're going to see a bunch of people fucking rush back into the high quality projects. Like I think that watching the market over the next month or two, like this summer, is going to be the time to make the moves on NFTs. So I'm trying to get set up for that next NFT run. I want to make some profit now with liquidity, and then get back in to like the floor projects that I really believe in are going to pump in like the fall. Because I think fall and holidays, there's going to be people that are like rushing back into some of these bigger NFT projects that are just so beaten down right now. But I think it's going to be at least a month or two, maybe 3 months maybe 4 months. I don't know how long. But again, what's the point? The point is right now you see these examples of these big announcements with high quality execution on big projects, even a Yuga project like this, and it's not doing anything for the floor. The floor is actually going the other way.
I want to get to some of the chat as well, and we are going to hit on the gas prices that are really suppressing NFTs right now as well. Like, let's be honest, that a lot of the volume has to do with people not wanting to trade NFTs, and we dealt with this, I believe, at the height of the NFT boom. Like during that time period, there was a lot of gas issues as well. You know, like to mint something was a ton of money. The difference being people were making a fuck ton at the time, so they were like, "Hey, well, I'm gonna take this L on the gas for the bigger opportunity of minting something that's 0.08 that'll turn into 2 ETH tomorrow, or you know, in the next week." So that obviously isn't happening as much right now, so it kind of scares people away. But let me get to some of the chat, guys, and we are touching on a little bit of the news here, the quick news. So we just touched on Meebits. We'll touch on Oni as well. They had another announcement that, again, didn't move the floor. But did you have something before I get to this chat?
Well, on the chat front, Cam Taylor, and relevant to the Meebits convo, you know, Cam Taylor and Chiptos are also developing like actually really fucking badass avatars. So it's like, I'd actually love to talk to him about this too and see like, you know, what can you, how can you figure out to not just make it a metaverse avatar, but are there other ways to integrate the utilities or use that avatar in more popular platforms? Like that, I think, is a fascinating conversation. But I'll also just say, like, in terms of metaverse avatars, I would much rather have my Chiptos X than a fucking Meebit, just on the quality of the art. It's insane.
GIF is not a fan of the block art. I think we can, and dude, everybody is a, you know, fan of to each their own, essentially, right? Like the sandbox and the Meebits and, you know, all of that type of block art is just not my cup of tea either. So that's fine. I will say that I think it might have been Cam again. I'm not sure if it is. Like, you're coming through with some you know, good knowledge here, but the integration into the other side. Or I think that was actually Choina. The integration into the other side is probably the biggest long-term sustainable narrative for Meebits. Like that, 100%. Being involved in Yuga, being involved in the other side in their own avatar-ish way, they're going to stand out in the other side, right? Because of the way that the art is. So that's the biggest long-term narrative there.
That's a good point, right? Because being able to do all those different emotes or show off your Meebit in the other side and all those ways, that I think that's actually maybe interesting to some people, right? But even then, it's like, if you can't do anything with it outside of that in Twitter or more popular platforms, may or may not hold enough, you know, weight. But I still think it's a really great execution. Like, I'm kind of fading it because it's not my style of art, but I actually, that website is fucking cool.
All right, I'm trying to find the best, and it's honestly been hard. I'm on doing analytics at this point because I just couldn't find the best place to track Ethereum gas historical price data. So I'm going to bring up that here in just a second. I do want to get the rest of this quick hits out of the way as well, because OniForce we've been covering for what feels like the last week and a half. They came out with this news literally 3 hours ago. OniForce Worldwide, a new paradigm in community support and business development begins now. Franchise, Ronin, and World Club applications open. You know, my initial take before diving into this is that we're seeing a ton of this from NFT collections right now, where they're offering, you know, really important tools for franchising their brand, you know, examples if they have copyrights, like things that Bored Ape has done really historically well, that we've seen from Gutter Cat and some other collections saying, hey, we want to make it easy for you to show off the Onis that you have, you know, or create a business around the Onis that you own. And I think that's what you're seeing from a ton of these communities. But let's jump in. Franchise model for PFP holders who want to support developing their PFP. Buy NFT, holder submits, so KYC, stake and sign NFT contracts on our website. Earn rights to submit PFP. Earn right to submit PFPs for development and submit business proposals to join the franchise model. That's interesting. So they're really This is not like a hands off. This is like very hands on with what they're trying to do here.
This is some of this is the stuff that they announced at NFTLA's event, and so it's cool to see them starting to roll this out because they're actually taking the community support aspects and like collaboration really seriously.
Yeah, Omniforce Central. Omniforce provides support in the form of assets, marketing, network distribution, and more. If we zoom out to the next one, Ronin Ambassador BizDev program, apply through our website, KYC, earn right to officially represent Omniforce as an ambassador and bring business, receive exclusive Ronin PFP that can be recalled back to Omniforce. How is something recalled? That's interesting. Must be like off.
So they actually developed this, or were using this technology with the frames. So those suits, that's one of the interesting utilities of that, is that basically the frames are attached, like you can't sell them separately. They're attached to the original Oni and they can actually be recalled. So like if I minted the frame, it's a function in the smart contract, like whatever it is, but you basically have the power to push a button, sign a transaction, and it pulls it to your wallet. So the point of like the Ronins is, I think, they want to control these, like, who are these people? Because these are basically like, they're kind of like employees, or they're some kind of partner ambassador. And so it's like, you can have that revoked. It's like, there's only so many probably, and they limit them. And it's like kind of being on a board or something like that. You know what I mean? And you can have that seat on the board revoked. You can be voted off of it, right? And so at that point, you can show it off as an NFT while you're on the board, but then if it's revoked, it's like they recall it. It's like, all right, you just got your ambassadorship revoked. It's actually interesting.
The Omniforce, I'm just looking at this from a technical perspective because I think you're right from that analogy of like the board. From a technical perspective, what this essentially is like a dynamic NFT that can be, like, the metadata can be updated by the original creator of the content. Like, is the NFT being updated?
I'm not saying it's not a dynamic NFT, but I don't think that's the function. The function that we're talking about is literally just a recall function that's in a smart contract. It doesn't change the metadata. It literally changes the wallet. It's a transaction that moves it. That's like one way. So it's like, you can have it in your wallet, but like, I get to control whether or not it stays in your wallet or whether it comes back to my wallet.
I have not heard about any asset.
Yeah, and so again, this is what's
into
one of the
and
interesting
out
things
of some of these wallets.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about the Oni frames is that it's attached to that original Omniforce NFT, and so whoever has that has the power to basically sign a transaction and summon it back to their wallet.
Holy shit! Okay. All right, I'm continuously trying to find like better Ethereum gas charts. So if anybody has like a end all be all when it comes to ETH gas,
I actually don't know how this works with hardware wallets. So I'd actually be very curious if anybody has any insight. Yeah, if basically this recall function can override a hardware wallet, like that would be.
That's instantly where my mind went. My mind went to the fact that how Yuga is dynamically updating like other deeds in certain ways, like with the vessels and things like this. Like they can change the metadata somehow. I'm thinking that it might be that. Like you know how like the OG apes are essentially frozen. Like their contract is frozen. Well, I think some NFTs are more dynamic. So maybe they can be updated.
That could be a simpler way to execute something like this. So maybe you're right. Maybe they're literally just like updating it to like invalidate and then created a copy or a new version that's validated. Maybe that is the way to do it.
Yeah, I have no idea. We're looking at the Oni price for the last week as well. So this announcement, not as cool, from a very short-term price action perspective of saying win token, but it was a really cool fundamental update. And I know that you said that it had already been kind of announced at a previous event, but still nothing when it comes to the fundamentals on these tokens. Okay, so we're going to get into the Ethereum gas piece here. I know a lot of people are struggling with doing anything on the Ethereum network. We talked Tezos this morning. We talked Polygon this morning. I don't think any of those other chains are dealing with, any of this situation right now, other than maybe Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is dealing with like block space and having a large amount of transactions trying to be filled on that network. And they're dealing with a lot of this stuff with ordinals coming out. But we'll touch on this just in a second. Did I ever hit the comments? I think we might have missed
Maybe
that completely.
not.
Actually,
We've got a lot of good comments coming in.
yeah. Prodigy's talking about CSGO skins, saying he's hiding all my perma-banned account skins. Marty McFly saying green light to fade Yuga now. Apparently, Meebit's been a Meebit hashtag for a while. Not a lot of people like the Meebits announcement and the update there. So Prodigy saying, yikes, man, not a fan personally. Arafin's just saying, just no. Marty saying, I've been catching up, kind of lost. Cam is not impressed with the Meebits rollout. Let's see. Left Action House is agreeing with you, I think, on the Meebits piece. Left Action House saying, I think we might see a meme coin NFT project that could come out and get NFTs back in the game. Most meme coins have no utility, and the meme coin fad will fade.
Absolutely, but it's about understanding how and when, right? Like we're playing momentum and waves here. I think that the meme coin altcoin wave is still, I think we're here, right? Like I think we're on this upward trajectory, and like if you think about it in like thirds, like I think we're in the first period, or we're in the sort of like first quarter entering into the second quarter maybe. And that's just what I think. I think it will come and go. I think it will be a wave, but I think that it'll play out over the next few weeks. That's my thesis, right? Again, nothing here. It's all NFA, but that's my thesis, and hopefully I'm right.
There's a lot of people that are having the thesis now that apparently BRC20s, these are Bitcoin like ordinals essentially.
Yeah,
market is going to blow up.
I meant to talk about this yesterday and today, and I didn't hit it. So if we want to hit this, I do think it would be interesting to talk about.
Yeah, I'm looking at it from a transaction side. Obviously, like I don't think I'm going to take the amount of time necessary to actually like get set up and trade in that ecosystem. I've been in a lot of group chats that are currently right now saying this is the next meta. The market cap on Bitcoin ordinals and NFTs is, 100x lower than that of Ethereum at this point. So going into I'll say this as well. In my time in the space, when it's been hard to actually access an asset, that's where the alpha's found. And I've said that multiple times over in various forms. But if you can access a market that's not, accessed by a lot of folks, that's usually where the primary alpha is found.
Yeah, and that's the same reason with like a big meme coin like a Pepe or a Turbo or something that can get listed on a big exchange that makes it much easier then for more people to get in. But like, so on that logic, Q, have you been buying ordinals? Because we both have been talking about this for a while. I haven't been buying any ordinals, but I have felt the whole time that like I probably should get in on some. I did just share this article about BRC20s if we wanted to try and get a better understanding.
The short answer for me is no. And the one thing I will tell you why, I do feel like my expertise is not in Bitcoin, in the Bitcoin ecosystem at all. And so my expertise is mainly within the Ethereum ecosystem, Polygon, and a couple others. And so if I try to go to this ecosystem and say I can actively trade it with any type of expertise, it's going to be a little bit harder for me to do so. Whereas if somebody's in Bitcoin all the time, that's their expertise. That's where they're not going to get their ass handed to them. And so, no, I haven't been trading BRC20s.
Yeah, I mean, this is fascinating though, right? Because this is showing what happens on a global network that people rely on when unexpected new use cases and utilities and developments happen sometimes. Because I was saying that like it's really having some pretty severe impacts on the network. Just like we're seeing gas prices on ETH be absolutely insane. Bitcoin has been seriously impacted by these BRC20s now. But it says, the effects of BRC20 mints range from halting Bitcoin withdrawals on Binance. So literally Binance having to stop withdrawals to frustration and sudden high cost of making payments in places like Africa and South America. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so
you can see there's, yeah, go ahead.
Well, Bitcoin's that layer. Bitcoin, the Lightning Network is that layer 2, right? That I think most people are starting to frame their mindset in the same way that Polygon sits on top or adjacent to Ethereum. You know, the layer 2 on Bitcoin Lightning Network is going to take, I think, a majority of this volume over time.
It should. Yeah. Yeah, what's his name? Dude from MicroStrategy. I can't think of his name for some reason.
Sailor?
Yeah, Michael Saylor. This guy's been talking about Lightning Network for several years. It just makes too much sense, right? Like that's the scalable solution. And then there's the layer 3s, like the exchanges and things like that, and different applications like Cash App that will also add, make it more usable, etc. But yeah, you need Lightning Network to actually make Bitcoin more friendly, more accessible, and like have the speed and the scalability to be a global payments system. But again, now we have like smart contract applications, different applications on it. It's very strange because as most of us know, like Bitcoin was not meant for any of this.
Yeah. Well, can I jump in here because I think that's a really good point into another tweet that was in this article, but I think is interesting because we get down the conspiracy rabbit hole, but we don't open the door and get into Wonderland much on the show just because that would take an entirely long amount of time to kind of have a show daily on. Unless we wanted to go full rabbit hole every single day, we could be that show if we want to do that. But here's an interesting take from other Bitcoiners that aren't happy with what's happening with the network getting congested. It's definitely an attack. So that's one theory here. You can't disrupt Bitcoin. They'd have to accumulate 51% hash rate. No, we would just need to spam the shit out of it and make sure it's unusable. So it all sits on custodial platforms. Our altcoins not even going to cost 0.1% of U.S. cybersecurity budget. So basically the theory there is the network is just being spammed to make Bitcoin unusable so that the fundamental use case of Bitcoin of being able to transfer back and forth between people and have that be useful completely goes away.
This is a real concern, because again, there's developing nations or other nations around the world that rely upon this network already that are trying to implement it in different ways to stabilize, their own economies in different ways. And if it's basically ineffective or not functional for them to use anymore, then they have to give it up. They have to do something else, right? So I do think it's a serious problem to solve. However, I will add some hopium into the mix and just say, I do think that the technology can solve this. I think with like Lightning Network, I think that there's smart people that are working on these things. And we've seen developers come up with new solutions for all these different problems before. And I think that there's enough interest in making the Bitcoin network work for people that I think there will be solutions that come. How fast they come or like what those look like, I don't know. But I'm at least optimistic in the technology or the capability for smart developers to create solutions to these types of problems.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be needed. You know what I mean? Like those solutions are what everybody has to turn to. I think the Ethereum gas fees right now that we'll touch on as well are, part of the solution is understanding that your mindset around Ethereum has to change. It's not going to be this place, at least in the really near term. I'm talking the next couple of years, 3 years, for a place that low value, high volume transactions are going to take place. You have to switch your mindset into thinking that's going to happen on layer 2s. That's going to happen, on some other, I don't want to say some other chain because I'm mainly talking about Ethereum virtual machine ecosystem, right? Like that's the difference between Solana and Ethereum, as opposed to Polygon's relationship with Ethereum. This is all Ethereum virtual machine when it comes to Polygons and Optimism and some others that are connected all together in the same ecosystem using Ethereum as the base layer. But go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm watching the Polygon chart dip. It's at 87 cents right now, and I think that's unreal value. Like that's again, of course. God, I'm already annoying myself. It's not financial advice, but yo, like I think Polygon is going to be one of the stories over the next year or two. Like I really do, and so to me, like it's crazy that more people aren't snatching it up and holding Polygon right now. So I'm actually going to be seeing if I can maybe reallocate, like if things go well and I'm like making some profits and I want to move stuff out of meme coins, like Polygon's going to be one of the first places that I put it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think long term, that's going to be one of those simple ones. We need another verb, or not another verb, but we need to change our verbiage on what that term is, of like something that's so obvious it's boring but obvious to us that something like Ethereum is going to do extremely well. ETH being deflationary in an environment that doesn't have many deflationary assets. I mean, Bitcoin isn't even deflationary. You know, if anything, right now, to the current supply, Bitcoin that the supply is static. You know, you could talk about
consider
people losing their Bitcoin.
It's slightly deflationary, but not like Ethereum. It's not like actively being burned every transaction.
Yeah. So I want to pull up. We're talking Bitcoin and BRC20s a little bit. So these are essentially fungible tokens that represent NFTs, right? So what would take with that with what you will, but you could see the Ordinals boom, quote unquote, that we saw is totally dwarfed. We were talking about this in February. Remember when we had, what was your buddy's name that was on here talking about Bitcoin Ordinals? I feel like that was 2 months ago. Didn't we have someone on NFT Live?
Yeah, my buddy. There's someone named Mark.
Was that Biggie Poppins?
Yeah.
Colleague? Okay, so somebody came on the channel, was talking Bitcoin Ordinals, and at the time it was like this big thing, but you can see this is May 6th. And then all the way up, this is all the way up to May 8th, and you can see that line goes straight up when it comes to daily inscriptions on the Bitcoin network, as well as ordinal fees paid over time. I mean, again, we had that individual on in February, I believe. This was when the ordinals were really popping off. There was a couple like known collections. People were starting to move over some ETH NFTs to ordinals. This is the last 6 days. It's just a straight up chart. So that's what you get. It's not so clear to me on the Bitcoin side what this looks like, right? You can see Bitcoin transaction count. This is similar to 2019. We're at similar levels. With the Bitcoin transactions, active addresses were lower than 2020. Again, data can be a little bit fuzzy to make out, but please someone tell me what's up here, because apparently what I'm being told is that there's more transactions than ever and Bitcoin is being slowed down to a halt, yet we're not over the transaction count of 2020 and we're matching 2017. So in dollar counts, it's not even close to 21, as you can see on this chart here. So that has something to do with Bitcoin being at 60K likely in this run. But as far as the transaction counts and active addresses, all that stuff, it should be way higher now with the amount that I'm hearing about, like Bitcoin's going to fucking die. Like this, apparently this has happened twice over. So please school me.
Everybody's dramatic as fuck, man. That's like how I feel. Like people are so reactive to to the current state of like whatever headline is in their face that day. It's like, I don't know. It almost is like at this point driving me crazy how short-sighted generally people are. I'll just say that.
Okay. No, this space runs on crack and Adderall, as far as I'm concerned, like with the news cycle and the short news cycles that we have here. All right, so we've been touching on Bitcoin ordinals. I'd love to get somebody again who can come in here and explain like this recent phenomenon again that has more more info there. But we're again more focused on Ethereum. I love Transaction Street here. That shows kind of like people waiting in line here to hop on the next block for Ethereum and Bitcoin.
That's South Park.
Yeah,
isn't that an episode of South Park?
Did they do an Ethereum Bitcoin piece here?
No, I'm just kidding, bro. It's just obviously meant to look like little South Park characters. That's TX Street. I love that. I use that all the time for trying to get a sense of what's going on with the Gwei.
Yeah, and here it is over the last month too, right? So April 26th to about today. We saw those massive spikes here. 1, 2, 3. So I'm assuming some of this has to do with like the extreme interest in Pepe coin, right? Here, probably to start May. And then we saw a lot of others start to get created here around this time. So in literally the last 7 days, Ethereum's become unusable. It's fallen, in the past 24 to 48 hours, but this is where we're sitting today. Again, I was trying to find historical gas charts. So if you look at like a historical thing here would be, this is 2000. So this is a 7-day chart. You can see median gas price on the 7-day. Daily, you can see here, this is 2022. This is what apparently is November of 2022. And you can see we're like far over that here as well. Daily and median gas. This goes back all the way to the other deeds launch. You can see that little drop off a cliff is 100% the other deeds mint there in May of 2022. And then you can see we're at that level right now. So I want everybody's take. Are you feeling the implications here? We had an artist here on the channel, Jeff Jag, on last week, or was that 2 days ago? Wait, what am I? Yeah, it was last week. We had Jeff Jag. A couple days ago. It's hard for artists in this environment, right, to launch a collection and have people mint something that maybe might be $100, and it would be $100 in fees as well. So you're literally doubling the price in some cases for trying to mint somebody's art.
Which is why, to your point, Ethereum, we need to start thinking about it differently. And crypto art is going to find other places to thrive, like Tezos. Yeah, look, ETH will always be a great place for high-end crypto art, but like for the trading of crypto art or the everyday collecting and like most applications or experimentation, it's not the place. And I think a lot of artists already know that, which is why Tezos has already been thriving with a lot of experimentation and innovation. And I think, why other people have also tried Solana and why Cardano is apparently a thing. Yeah.
Is Cardano a thing? Are we making it a thing here?
I keep like kind of rolling my eyes at it. Maybe it is. It's interesting because I feel like whenever we bring it up, there's always one like Cardano maxi that pipes up. That's always like Cardano's fucking amazing, and I still don't know why. Like I've talked to 1 or 2 NFT collectors that say that they actually do really well over there. So I do believe that there is something happening there.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not in it enough to really feel it.
Yeah. Cardano for me is one that I probably will never get involved in just because of my internal bias. They've been around for a very, very long time. I hate the founder. So I know like hating Vitalik doesn't mean I don't need to use Ethereum or anything like that. Like that shouldn't be involved in the equation. But when it's such a small ecosystem and like I really don't have a need to move over to Cardano, and I already hate the guy who runs it. So or founded the protocol. So
what do you have against Charles? What did Charles do to you?
Charles sucks.
Really? Why?
He sucks. Because he's been running on like a narrative for so long that like we're not going to launch this chain and we're actually going to do research and all this stuff. And in the meantime, Cardano has stayed a top 10 protocol or top 15 protocol in the sense of like we're still sitting here 6 years later asking what's happening on Cardano or Cardano, whatever you want to say it. So listen, I don't want to get into Charles bashing, but Marty McFly saying, I just don't see how ETH is 4K. People are going to buy NFTs after I just don't see how if ETH is at 4K, people are going to buy NFTs after seeing this turn. They will avoid the temptation next time. Dude, we need to pull you out of the bearish gutter, man. Like, I don't know
It's
if
rough,
everybody's
bro.
this is the this is not the Marty McFly. This is the Andy James bell curve. Have you seen the bell curve of like the doofus IQ and then like the average IQ or like higher than average IQ and then at the end of it it's like 200 IQ? Have you seen that bell curve meme?
Probably.
I will bring this up because it explains a lot in crypto, and some of it has to do you want to be right? Do you want to make money? Like trying to explain this space logically, like Andy James likes to do on Web3 of like be like founder and price to earn ratios and like all like that sounds great, and maybe the traditional markets work that way, but crypto just doesn't work that way. There's going to be another NFT run, like just to accept it.
Yeah, and so much of it like is just pure manipulation by whales and certain wallets and influencers and shit too, which is an interesting facet. Whenever there's a new wave or a new use case or a new thing that pops up, there's going to be more people who come back. But again, like being like thinking that we can predict what's going to happen with like the Asian markets or these new financialization tools and new utilities and use cases within NFT technology and Web3 when there's another crypto bull market is crazy to me. I don't know why anybody would be like, again, I don't want to like invalidate anybody's emotions because right now, given where we're at, it totally makes sense to feel down because we're down bad right now. But to pretend like this is the end of this technology and like we know that it's never coming back and that this shit isn't cyclical, I think just doesn't make sense to me.
All right, so low IQ mongrel over here is saying NFTs are going to be great again. The high IQ Jedi over here is saying NFTs are going to be great again. And then in between the 85 to 115 IQ is trying to explain why NFTs are not going to come back. So I know that's an oversimplification, but there's a lot of this that goes on in this space and they end up being left behind. Like that's honestly my take. Like if you think about this space logically, I think about this as like the last cycle on Cardano that went up 50x. Here's another use case of this meme. Doge, Pepe, Turbo. This is it. This guy's saying turbo down here, and this guy's saying turbo, and this guy in the middle is like, there's nothing backing this. This is a meme coin speculation. So understand that this space does not favor the 85 to 115 IQ explanations of what you think the space is going to be.
Yeah, which is why you've got like it's actually really smart because like you look at the Bored Ape phenomenon of who is the original collectors that like made bags off of Bored Apes. It's absolutely like these extremes. There's like the extreme just DJs that were just like, this is so fucking stupid, YOLO, send it to the moon. And then there's like smart ones that are actually like, there's like, oh, I can actually see why this is culturally relevant and distributed IP is going to be the next thing. And if I buy like X amount on leverage, then I could like, then there's that. And then there's the middle ground that we're just fudding it the whole time.
Trying to
like,
explain it away.
This is dumb. Like, look at these idiots, they're making monkey noises. And that's like the vast majority of all the like the pretentious art collectors that were in Clubhouse. So many of them that were in those rooms with us that were just fudding it from the bat, being like, this isn't what NFT art is about. Like so many of them regret it because they were there. They were there the whole time and they just talked shit instead of just being like, yeah, I can see why. Why not? It's like, just why not? That's kind of what a lot of this space runs on.
Again, that 85 to 115 IQ explanation is hilarious to me just because I see it in real time and so many people have tried it. And I've been in that discussion with, again, things like a Doge. I remember Crypto Buffalo talking to me about Doge 2 years ago, being like, this is my thesis. The thesis is it's fucking Elon's coin. And I would have done extremely well had I heeded his advice. Like, you're overthinking it. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, we do have an update from Our Force One because somebody over here, Big Watch Dude, is asking if we're familiar with Nike Artifact. So actually, again, I totally skipped out on this. Meant to bring this up on GM Web3, but we'll talk about it briefly here. It was delayed a week, I believe, to May 15th. But let's see what this most recent update says. It says Our Force One collection, new dates and next steps. Dear Dot Swoosh member. That's me. Our Force One collection is headed your way soon, but we needed a little more time to fine tune our game plan. So we're sharing an update today to ensure your Dot Swoosh experience is a seamless one and to make way for some big news. We have delayed the launch of our Force One collection by 1 week. The new sale dates, the first access will begin on May 15th. That means general access is on May 17th. Thank you for your patience, blah, blah, blah. It begins with the box. The OF1 collection starts with the OF1 box. Each OF1 box comes in one of two forms, Classic Remix or New Wave. The Classic Remix box can contain an Air Force One inspired by AF1 collections from 82 to 2006. New Wave box features a brand new next generation reaching AF1 that takes inspiration from 2007 to present and even into the future. Scattered across both boxes are co-created AF1s from the Your Force One winners. So no matter what you pick, there's something for you. More details on the OF1 launch on their .swoosh blog. So there you go. That's the update there. And yeah, I'm on the allow list. I got my poster. Super dope. I'm definitely going to be trying to pick up one of these. Look, it's fucking Nike. It's one of the biggest consumer brands in the world doing their first branded NFT project. And it's shoes. Like Nike does, and shoes being their specialty, right? So it's like, I think it should do well, but either way, I'm going to do it for the experiment and because it's the first Nike thing ever, and who knows? I'm excited for it. I'll say that. You're muted, my guy. Big yikes. Uh-oh. And we lost Q. So he's gone. He's done. I guess that's it. All I got to say about Our Force One, other than like I am on the allow list and waiting for it. Let me know if in the chat you're excited for it. Are you back? And yeah,
how do I do?
Yeah, you're good. Prodigy's saying at least they delayed it rather than fucking up the drop. Again, I would much rather you delay it a week than fuck up the drop. So we were talking about it might have something to do with the Tom Sachs allegations. So Tom Sachs, there was a collaborator that some allegations came out and they may have had to pivot or update something because of that. But Arafim saying, yeah, just do it. Okay.
So here's my take. I don't really have much to take on the Nike front, just because I'm not going to get involved because I'm not a big like Nike user or like collector or anything like that. I think that the NFT tech will facilitate them being able to, interact with their communities. I'm just not part of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not taking part of this drop thinking like I'm going to 5X or anything like that. But it's a really good activation for people who are Nike fans. That's it's a little bit of a paradigm shift with how we saw NFTs in the bull run, which is I'll buy whatever, like I don't care if I'm a fan of it. I think that this is going to 10X or 5X or whatever. So I'm going to buy one and then maybe I'll get involved in the community. I don't think that Nike NFTs work this way. But maybe they will. Maybe they'll be, profitable for people that are fans of what's going on there.
Yeah, and Prodigy saying, imagine not being a Nike Maxi. I'm a Nike Air Force Maxi. I'm actually not. I prefer Adidas, but all right. Bad jokes is what we're into right now.
I've read Shoe Dog. Does that count? I've read Shoe Dog. Great book, by the way.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
So Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, wrote it. It's like an autobiography, dude. There's a really cool story about this. He lived in like I believe Portland or Northern California. I think it's Portland or Oregon. I'm sorry, and he moved with a friend to Hawaii on their way to go to Japan to try to come back and like get a contract from ASICS, because ASICS, if you don't know, was the company that was originally putting out Nike shoes. So I'm not a New Balance fan either there, Marty McFly. But ASICS had the original contract with Phil Knight to create what was, I believe at the time, Nike shoes. He stopped in Hawaii with his buddy, and they didn't even make it to Japan. They got to Hawaii and just lived there for like a year or two. They like, how dope is that? If like, hey, we're gonna go to Japan to settle this contract, all this stuff. Actually, we really fucking love it here. And then eventually he left. His buddy stayed, and he got the contract for Nike and all that stuff. Pretty wild.
I mean, this is why sometimes you just YOLO it and live your best life and
Fair.
let the chips fall where they may. If something feels right to you, if it's resonating with you, you know what? That's what I did here with this fucking meme coins and this wave right now. I think I caught a feeling of what's going on, but I could be totally wrong. Again, I'm accepting the level of risk, but I'm just kind of YOLOing and hoping that, you know, my choices make some kind of sense. Yeah, Big Watch Dude saying he's excited as hell for Our Force One, not a sneakerhead, but planning on flipping the shoes, maybe holding on to an NFT. I mean, that could work out. Yeah, Marty McFly saying Q wears New Balance. You do look like you look like the kind of guy, doesn't he? This New Balance guy over here, or Skechers. That would be the other one I could see you rocking.
You know,
no,
Tony
more
Romo's
New Balance.
A sponsor for Skechers, so I'm a big Cowboy fan.
They've got big advertising money, so you know what? That, you know, it does seem like Tony Romo. Tony Romo would take a Skechers fucking ad.
If
Anyway.
I lose out in the NFT space, I'll 100% have to wear Skechers because I couldn't afford any Nikes.
Prodigy saying 100% Nifty Q wears New Balance. Those backyard dad lawnmower 300s. Yep, sounds about right. Also, you know what? Shout out the Lakers.
Are those 407s?
You know,
are those 407s?
I don't know. We haven't mentioned the Lakers, they're up 3-1 in their series against the Warriors. Big series. You know, this is going to settle it. Who's going to get the 5th ring? Is it LeBron or is it Steph Curry? You know, this isn't ESPN, but sometimes we do touch on the big sports. We like the sports a little bit, and I'm proud of my Lakers out here. They're killing it.
Yeah, a huge LeBron fan. I don't know if that goes over well with a lot of folks, but I like LeBron. I think he carries a lot of his teams more so than
How
maybe
can
even
you
Jordan
not
did.
like? How can you not?
A lot
like
of people
LeBron?
don't. A lot of people don't. Hey, I have a more tougher, like a tough question and a more pressing question. Do you wear shoes during these shows? Because I'm being told now I have sandals under the desk.
I do not always wear shoes, but if I do wear shoes, it's not real shoes.
Don't tell me it's Crocs. Don't tell me if you pull up some Crocs, I'm going to end the episode. Okay, that's all right. Uggs? Are those Uggs?
They're slippers. They're not like, they're like Fugs. They're fake Uggs. They're just comfy house shoes, slippers.
Listen, if Turbo pumps, you got to get some real Uggs. That's the first purchase. All right.
Yeah. All right, I'm in. Like, fucking just make Turbo pump.
I'm trying to. I'm going to look at the price here. Hey, last thing I wanted to cover, I know this episode's been all over the place. Jared from Subway.eth is an extractor currently earning 1,400 ETH per day. How is he or she so successful, and why can't anyone else do the same? All right, listen. One of the reasons why gas is so high is because on top of the organic trading that's happening with these meme coins, there are MEV bots that are actually, you know, if you go back to Transaction Street, you can imagine basically a MEV bot as somebody that's either in this line reshuffling the people that are getting on and like stealing money from them at the same time. But basically that's what they do is they're reorganizing, restructuring, and also trying to get in on the arbitrage between the buy and sell when you make a price, or you make a trade, essentially, like you put a spot trade on. So Nox does a way better job at explaining this stuff of what's going on. First basics, MEV or miner extractor value is a lucrative business where miners or extractors capitalize on the reordering, insertion, or censoring of transactions. This allows them to earn revenue by exploiting opportunities like arbitrage or liquidations. In contrast to simple arbitrage, toxic MEV occurs when an attacker manipulates users' transactions by reordering them before their own backrun or delaying them until after their back run. This creates an artificial imbalance that the attacker then exploits for profit. Jared from Subway.eth is mostly utilizing these toxic MEV opportunities. Their success can be attributed to skill, strategy, and tech. Jared's bot identifies more MEV opportunities and executes transactions faster than their competitors. So, question being, how crazy would it be if Jared from Subway was behind this bot?
And how is he running that bot from prison? That's a great question, Marty. You know what? I like funny Marty more than I like bearish Marty. So yeah, Marty's actually coming in with some jokes today, which I appreciate. Yeah, keeping it a little lighthearted instead of just doom scrolling through these comments. It's fascinating, man, that there's someone out there that's raking in this kind of fucking cash right now. That's crazy, and that's. This is why, okay, you know what I'd love to do if I do hit big and like things go well with these trades, like I want to get back into investing in the product side, much more, because there's just so much opportunity to be creating interesting products and applications. But that would be my goal is, I want to buy back into Bored Apes, maybe get some UGs, and then I want to invest in product side innovation.
All right. Well, I do have some good news for you, Gifted. Give me one more second. Again, we're dealing with extremely volatile assets, but Turbo continues its rise. It's now at 0.0014, so it's at a pretty good spot right now. As you can see, kind of like there was a little bit of a crab out for a second, but it seems to be moving a little bit upwards. So all the best to you on this turbo trade here, man. 121% in the last 24 hours.
This is going to be so awkward watching this over the next fucking week or two. Like, it's just going to be like every day, like, how's it doing? Like, fuck me.
I wanted to dedicate a portion of this show based on your tweet. So that was
it's the real life case study. Yeah, it is a real life case study. And look, I practice, for the most part, I practice radical transparency. Like, cause I hope that people like do learn, whether it's what mistakes not to make, or they learn something interesting about like how to actually, navigate the space. I do want people to learn through my mistakes or my experiences. So I'm being very transparent with the shit that I'm doing here. And it is a case study.
Yeah.
Hopefully
you're putting yourself out there, at least on that tweet. So at least for the next week, we'll have to be following it. But yeah, everyone's giving you some love there. Go Turbo, let's go. I feel like I'm cheering you on in a race or something. Like you're the kid just like running a ultra marathon or something, just kind of getting after it. How the fuck do we get one of those bots for Web3 crew? I'll quit work and run it. I was saying,
Forrest Gump. That's me running. Yeah, we should name our MEV bot Forrest Gump.
Or who was the? Run. We should name it like Quiznos or something. Who's the founder of Quiznos?
Nobody knows anybody from Quiznos.
We knew. We went to the #1 Quiznos, the #1 established Quiznos.
But we don't know a guy who's like the Quiznos guy. There's no. Or gal. There's no Quiznos gal. That would be interesting if there was, but
folks, if you can find the Quiznos founder, you let us know, and we'll talk.
No,
about
what's
it here
the what's the guy?
Who founded?
What's the guy from State Farm? Let's do the guy from State Farm. Hold on.
Oh, you're talking about the khakis guy?
Kevin from State Farm, is that? No, Jake from State Farm. That was the one.
Jake from State Farm. Yeah. Well, they got a new guy. It's not.
We
Jake
should name
anymore.
our MEV. Yeah, would name our MEV bot Jake from State Farm. If you've got better ideas for what we should name the Web3 MEV bot, put it in the chat. Let us know what you think. My vote is Jake from State Farm.
I actually like that. Now we just need to actually create the MEV bot and make some money on it. So we can't just, I guess we can get the name. All right, this is what we're doing because it's the popular thing to do. It's the chic thing to do nowadays to create a song and put it AI generated by a popular artist in hip hop, in any music sector at all. So we have the Pepe theme song. Apparently, have you listened to the Drake Pepe theme song? GIF?
Oh, it's been a repeat for the last 24 hours. Come on.
Just pumping iron. Just Pepe. Just Pepe and out. All right, Pepe theme song to take us out. Hey, if you enjoyed the content, I don't know how you did for this episode. We were just absolute apes the entire time. But if you did, if you liked the content and you want to support us, leave a like on the episode. If you can leave a like on the tweet there on NFT Live, at NFT Live on Twitter. We appreciate it so much. Our Vibe, our tribe. Y'all were awesome. Gifted, we'll take it out. I'm not naming it OJSimpson.eth. Stop your shenanigans.
Why not? I don't understand. Why not?
Yeah,
he's
doing
a
Jared.
well-known, beloved football star. Come on, Q.
You missed murderer there, but yeah, got it.
PapaJohn.eth could be good. Anyway, big love to y'all. Our Vibe, our tribe. We will be back tomorrow with more GM Web3 on Twitter. And hey, if you didn't know, all of our live content from here on YouTube and over there on Twitter goes out to audio platforms within like an hour of us being live. So it's current. It is hot. It is relevant and spicy. And one of the best places that you can catch all of that and stay up to date is on Spotify. So if you have not gone over and liked and followed the Spotify Web3 Network page, there it is. Go over and do that. It's honestly amazing. And the work
your
that
episode is already out.
It's already there. GM Web3 that we just did like an hour. You just finished it like an hour ago is already up there. Look at that. It's hot. It's spicy. It's fresh, like some Quiznos bread first thing in the morning. So yeah, Web3 Network on Spotify is a great place to keep up to date with all of this. And yeah, we appreciate y'all for the love. If you haven't smashed the like on the video, go ahead and do that for us. It really, really makes a big difference. You know how algorithms work. I don't need to explain algorithms to you, but that's a big deal. It really, really does help us get this out to more people. So thank you for smashing the like, putting a thumbs up on this. And with that, we appreciate y'all.
High five, GIF. Our Vibe, our tribe. Love y'all.
Long time coming, I've been plotting me a set. Payday to the moon, we ain't never going back. Hopped onto the chain, pressure made us diamond hands. I don't need no princess, baby, I'm a king of the mid. Don't ask me about my Pepe, ain't too long before the payday. Shit, pouring reasons, I'm a meme on a Thursday. Pump it up, this ain't button on a Friday. Asians getting after this a season where we bullying. Shit it with no answers, telegram and moves our way. My house be chasing bags, they be running through a maze. I'm amazed, aim my head to liquidity in a phase. I don't ever kill my house, I put their legends in a grave. Got my girl pregnant, put that baby on the blockchain. Told me listen clearly, you best hodl you that Pepe. Protect the garden like I'm Dende. Every night I see them child supported trips and been my fame. Pepe pays me every day. Rug boys, they really tried it, but Pepe's here to stay. To the moon, boy, Pepe pays me every day. You can call